This is how the Simpsons Hit Run is supposed to look like. And this is how my version of the game runs.
Retribution.
Oh man, this sucks.
Watch yourself!
Ugh. Disappointed! Not very good at this.
The Simpsons Hit Run and I have a long history. I used to have the game on the PS2 when I was a kid, and I remember just driving around and pretending I was one of the Simpsons like it was GTA RP or something. I mean, back then I thought it was open world, even though now I know all the maps are just giant loops, and I couldn't even get past the third stage because I was just absolutely horrible at the game, and games in general. So not too long ago, about a couple years back, I got that nostalgia hit, and I decided to re-download the game on my PC so I could finally beat that third stage. So I obviously downloaded the game through not so official sources, and I had one of my best friends guide me through the installation process of the ROM, but I have no idea what went wrong because as soon as I booted the game, I got the weird map textures not loading, the weird no ground falling, and the thing that makes the car like curb boost when you hit terrain wrong. I mean, not to mention everything else wrong with the game, like the weird smoke particles, the weird sound glitches, and just the constant crashing. Just recently I found out that if you're ever going through this problem with your ROM of The Simpsons Hit Run, the fix is really simple, and it's literally like a click away. All you have to do is open up your installation folder and right click on the executable and just go over to this funny little tab over here and just click one of these earlier versions of Windows. I'm sure I know I watched something on it, but right now I just can't remember which one it is, so you know, like 50-50. I think all of you know the reputation of this game and how hard it is, especially that Lisa stage, okay? So if you like this sort of thing, make sure to leave a like, subscribe if you like, and leave a comment. I read every comment and your support means a lot to me, so without any further, let's get right into it. The game is divided into 7 levels with 7 missions each. Most of the levels are recolors of previous levels, and there are even character repeats in the last 2 stages. The game starts us off on level 1 and we play as Homer in daytime Springfield. This is the tutorial mission, which actually doesn't even count towards our progress. The Cola Caper has Marge tell us that she wants us to drive to the Quickie Mart to get some ice cream and cola. The ice cream with the miniature
pies in it.
The mission is very easy and you can see the first sign of weirdness as I get launched a little further than normal on the stunt jump. After collecting the groceries from Apu, we have to drive back to the Simpsons house. And this is where my game crashes for the first time, which means I have to restart and do it all again. But it's not that bad as the mission is so short. On the second attempt, we get to Apu without any problems at all, and we drive back home to start the next mission. 1-1 SMRT is the first mission of the game. Marge tells us that Lisa forgot her school project and we have to race Principal Skinner to get it to her on time. I have no idea what's gonna happen if I get there 1 second later, but okay. Lucky for us, Skinner follows the God-given speed limit, so we're much faster than him. As I'm driving, I hit a tree wrong, and my car turns on its side before both wheels touch down at the same time, which causes this weird slingshot effect that launches me, and that I have no control over at all. Regardless, we get to the school with plenty of a lead, and give Lisa her school project.
I'm king of the world!
1-2 Petty Theft Homer starts with Invisible Ned Flanders, you know, the Ned in my head one might say, confronting us that we've stolen all of his stuff.
I'm all in a dither, Homer. So many of my possessions have disappeared.
Our goal is to drive around town and pick up all of his lost items, which is very simple. We get his tuxedo, his lawnmower, talk to the Barney in my head to get the cooler, then we get the lawn chair, family photo, and finally his son's inhaler. After this, we drive back to his house and find out that the ground has totally disappeared and Ned is just hovering. So I try to get down to his level so I can talk to him, and I end up jumping, which causes me to fall endlessly in the jumping animation, so I have to restart the level and pick up all of his stuff again. Luckily, the ground is there this time and he gives us a little prayer for our good deeds. In 1-3 Office Space, it turns out we're late for work, so obviously the only way to solve this is to game end our supervisor, Mr. Smithers, in broad daylight in the middle of a suburban neighborhood so that we can come to work a little later that same day. So we decide to drive to our co-workers near the graveyard and engage in a little criminal conspiracy to buy Barney's Plow King for 150 coins to make destroying his car a little easier. Once we finish the pay-to-play aspect of the mission itself is actually very easy, as Smithers doesn't really seem to care that he's not going to be coming home today, and we end up destroying his car relatively shortly. After erasing Smithers from the face of the earth, we're prompted to drive down to the power plant so that we can clock into work. I honestly have to say that the Springfield map is one of the worst maps in this game for technical glitches. Just something about this bumpy terrain ruins the cars, and driving the Plow King makes it even worse. I noticed that the bouncier or higher the suspension of the car is, the worse this glitch gets.
Watch it, I almost spilled my sundae.
After getting to the power plant and to Homer's workstation, we start 1-4, Blind Bigger Brother. This mission, like the past ones, is extremely easy. All you have to do is run around and destroy 9 of these little power coupling things in the time limit. I'm sorry to bore you, but yeah, I mean, the first Homer level is just extremely easy. After destroying all the couplings, Homer gets home.
I can get some...
Okay, so I take the shortcut through the Stonecutter's tunnel to make it back quicker, and then when I get home, I get treated to one of the best cutscenes in any game, I think, period.
Leaving the famous bearded cartoon creator incarcerated in a Peruvian jail. In other news,
These miniature cameras are an outrage. Spying on our women's dressing rooms, bathrooms, and locker rooms is unforgivable. I think I speak for all Springfielders when I say, where is the sexy footage? Marge, that black van is spying on us.
Oh, homie, you're so sexy when you're paranoid.
So after watching Mayor Quimby lose his entire female voting population and watching what I can only guess is Homer and Marge piping down, we get into the next mission, 1-5, Flowers by Irene, where we have to follow the black van that was outside of our house, which I guess the guy driving this van is a voyeur or something because he waited this whole time outside the window for me. And unfortunately for me, this whole area is basically bumpy dirt roads. So driving here is a complete nightmare. Next, the van just crashes into the side of this fence. As it tries to pull out, it hits this stuck car and look what happens. It like completely disintegrates. Like it just completely ceases to exist and I have no idea why. Obviously the game doesn't know how to handle any of this, so I end up soft locked in the mission. So I'm forced to restart, and on the second attempt, the world textures don't even load the entire time. So I'm forced to look at my little mini-map the entire time I'm driving so I don't crash into the invisible houses. I don't know why, but when I get into the power plant, both of our cars just start doing these little bounces and can't go forward or back. The car is literally stuck in limbo until the textures load back. After we both get free, the van leads us and stops at Mr. Burns' mansion.
Mr. Burns
Very,
is
very
behind all
interesting.
this. Evil spying is so like him, that wrinkled old monkey skeleton. We're number one! We're number one!
So after learning that Mr. Burns is spying on us, we find Marge at the nearby grocery store, but she's too interested in destroying the next shipment of video games to your local GameStop to help us. So, you know, we become more than willing accomplices in the next mission, 1-6 Burnstorm Storm, where we have to follow this video game van and hit it 10 times so that it drops all of its games. Apparently this whole van is only carrying 10 copies of this game. The mission is super easy and we get all the games with no trouble with plenty of time left. The finale requires us to drive back to the power plant, and please just have a look at how bad the driving is. I'm just bouncing, sliding, and zooming around and I can't do anything about it at all. The car is like literally pristine. Or I guess maybe like Herbie, like more like Herbie I guess. After making the biggest entrance to the power plant car park, we talk to Carl, who tells us to chase Smithers to get into the Burns mansion. Wait, what? So Smithers isn't dead. 1-7 has got to be my worst performance so far. Okay. This mission is called The Fat and the Furious, like the Fast and the Furious. Anyways, Smithers is pretty quick, so we have to drive decently fast to overtake him. This stunt jump here over the TIE fight actually unironically gives me PTSD. I mean, you'll know what I mean if you watch to the end, but I hate this jump and how much it shoots you forward. So of course, after shooting me forward like a million miles an hour, I crash headfirst into this fence and it damages my car so badly. So I try to drive really carefully until I can reach a wrench, but this absolute NPC keeps his foot on the accelerator as I try to turn in front of him, causing me to crash and my car to blow up. So the next thing to do is obviously to carjack the guy to try to finish the race. As I'm driving this slow utility truck, this buzz does some Minority Report future reading and predicts that he'll have to swerve out of the way of me, so he absolutely gasses it and turns into me instead of staying in his lane or stopping. And just these NPC cars are so fragile, so I immediately get black smoke. I keep going, and this time, unfortunately, I was at fault for this car crash, so I'm very sorry to this guy, but then I carjack him anyways, and as I'm driving, my car does a little handstand. Very awesome. Smithers and I proceed to bounce in place for a little, and then when I get to this garage jump, sadly the car can't take the hits and combusts after running over a bush. At this point I don't have enough time to flag down another driver to steal their cars, so I have to restart. On the second run I get to use the full health Simpson family sedan, and this goes much better, and for the second part of the race I completely get to ignore all of the obstacles as I drive on the ether. After beating Smithers to the Burns mansion, I confront Mr. Burns about his spy vans, but He claims they're just Papa John pizza resellers, so he fires me.
With some sort of pizziola concern?
What? They were only pizza vans? I'm a class 5 idiot.
In level 2, we get to play as Bart, and our first mission 2-1 Detention Deficit Disorder, DDD, is to get away from Principal Skinner for skipping school. I have no idea what kind of school Bart goes to because the principal is literally out on the streets hunting school skippers without a hall pass so that he can relive his combat days in Vietnam.
I'll get you, Bart, just like I got Charlie and Nam.
On my first attempt, I didn't really know the map that well. It was a while since I played it, so I was really thrown off by the lack of textures, which meant that I didn't gain any ground on Skinner and failed to lose him on time. On the second attempt, however, I braved the unknown and actually lost him pretty easily because his routing probably got stuck somewhere. Among all the missions, Springfield is the buggiest, and the city map has got to have the worst texture loading times. We end up at the Try and Save talking to Jimbo, who convinces us to join the video games to fireworks pipeline. So our first step of 2-2 Weapons of Mass Delinquency to become a juvenile deviant is to go around town buying illegal fireworks from criminals. Our first dealer is Otto, outside Mo's tavern, who then guides us to Mo, who's very open to selling them to us, and then we try to talk to Snake, and finally we somehow end up speaking to the son of the police chief.
Now make with the works. My daddy's going to put you in jail. Bye!
Which turns out to be literal entrapment against how old is Bart? I mean, okay, he's 10. So Chief Wiggum is more than willing to put a middle schooler behind bars for life. I mean, shouldn't he be more concerned that I'm driving a car, a rocket thing? But whatever. Chief Wiggum is super easy to evade if you react quickly and do this jump for the central rotating tower, because he usually fails it and ends up crashing to give you extra time. In 2-3 Vox No Dually, we insult Comic Book Guy.
Hey, Jabba the Fat, do you know where I can get a copy of Bone Storm 2?
Then help Comic Book Guy race this other nerd guy so that Comic Book Guy can get to his reserved seat at the internet cafe first. I don't even know what the idea behind this mission was because the whole race lasts like 15 seconds and the nerd intentionally slows down at the end a little bit so you can win. I mean, it's almost a non-mission, there's not much to say at all. 2-4 Bart and Frank is a two-parter. Professor Frank needs our help to get an old World War II radio because new radios interrupt radio signals or something. I mean, don't ask me because it just doesn't make much sense. We start off following this black pizza van to Herman's military antiques. But, oh no, there's been a robbery and the radio is gone and Chief Wiggum forgets that he wanted to put us behind bars. Like 2 missions ago. Who could possibly do such a thing? Well, obviously it's Snake, the stereotypical Springfield criminal, who is just such a Sigma male that he stole this radio so that he could pick up women on the street. I try to convince him by gaslighting him into thinking that driving fast is way more impressive than having an old junk radio. So, you know, either way I win, right? He wins, I get the radio because he's fast, then I win, I still get the radio because that's what we wagered for. Well, wrong. The people driving on this highway must be intentionally checking their mirrors for people to pass them because literally twice in a row, just before I'm about to pass a car, they change right into my lane at the speed of light, which gave me permanent trauma for the future missions.
These people are trolling.
Despite this Matrix-esque sabotage, I actually managed to win the race first try, and like before, the ground below me didn't load. So thinking back to Homer, I literally waddled my way over so I didn't have to do all of that again, and luckily I didn't. 2-5 Better Than Beef introduces us to not only my least favorite car in the game, but also my least favorite mission type. I hate Cletus missions. All of them are about picking up this roadkill with always such a small tight amount of time. And not to mention, I mean, his car is just absolutely horrible worse. It's junk. It's absolutely terrible. I don't know what's wrong with it, but it has the strangest suspension of any car at any point in this run, and it does some of the craziest stunts. After helping Cletus pick up his roadkill, Apu is morally grandstanding because according to him, our road skunk is not up to FDA regulations. So as I'm escaping, I also get my first hit and run of the game up to this point. Manage to escape and get back to the Krusty Burger, and just as I think this mission nightmare is over, my game does this weird pulse, my audio bugs out, and the game crashes, right after I talk to Cletus.
Thanks, inbred hillbilly.
Torrent nothing.
So we have to do it again, but this time I mean just look what this car is even doing. I hate it. I just hit this bump and I flew around possessed. Not to mention I failed the mission the second time too, so I have to do it a third time. On the third try, the police are tight on my tail and I successfully evade the 50 coin fine as I make it to Cletus. I'm nervous about the bug that happened last time, and instead of the game crashing like last time, the game does the same zoom in zoom out effect, and then the cops just find me because I guess they were just waiting until I got out of the cutscene to give a child a traffic ticket. 2-6 has a great soundtrack. In this mission, Monkey See, Monkey Do, Dr. Nick wants us to recover his monkeys that have escaped from his animal testing facility where he tests makeup on them. So yeah, Bart is definitely not getting good karma for this, but whatever, I guess we're throwing our morals out the window because we need to get this blender for Professor Frink. First, we have to fork over 200 coins to get Mr. Plow from Homer. Not the first time I bought a plow, so that we can have that hind real estate room for all those monkeys. The monkeys are all over the main Springfield Park region, so I'm very thankful that we don't have to go into any of the other zones where I might experience those graphical sector loading bugs. Getting the monkeys isn't that hard, and we have plenty of time. Some of them you can't get in a decisive, efficient pattern, like when you have to get out of your car for these on the rooftop. I unfortunately missed the 20th monkey as I do the stunt jump through the construction site because the ramp boosted me too much, so for the next time I have to slow down a little. As I turn to go back for the rest, this pizza van accelerates with me, preventing me to turn, and he's so dedicated to this that he crashes his own car into a brick wall. And in this next bit, I mean, can someone tell me what this is? Another pizza van just out of nowhere slams into me. I'm not even on the road. I'm not even anywhere near him. On my second attempt at this stunt jump, I go a little slower and I get the last monkey, but my car does a 180-degree turn somehow and I go over the edge backwards, which really scares me because I thought I was going to be stuck at this bit. At this point, I kind of didn't realize that you could reset your car by flicking the joystick, but we don't talk about that. With the last monkey in our possession, we talk to the voices in our head and steal the blender for the professor.
Now, to put electrodes in your brains!
Perfection. Thy name is Bart.
Professor Frink literally starts 2-7 sellouts by hyping us up to the Truckosaurus he's building, and then tells us that it doesn't work because apparently people are texting and driving and the dinosaur doesn't like that. It's not very safe. So we set out to destroy these people's cars for our own entertainment. I was surprised at how much time we actually get to do this because these cars are just regular sedans, and with our Plow King, we do a lot. Plow King, or is it Mr. Plow? With our Plow, we do a lot more damage and can take a lot more damage, and with minimal glitches, I might add. Just a very clean mission, a very clean finish, which rewards us with a pivotal lore cutscene back at the arena. No. In this stage, we get to play as Lisa by the Springfield coast. It's one of my favorite locations, but also the one I never got past back in the day. And also it combines the two worst aspects of the previous maps with not only terrible loading times, but with terrible physics as well. The first mission here is 3-1, Nerd Race Queen, where again we have to help comic book guy race this nerd character. The extreme elevation change in this level is what really makes the whole thing so difficult, because as you can see, I'm literally hovering like at least 50 meters over the road, and the mission objectives don't change elevation, which means I'm unable to get down to them, so I have to wait for the textures to load back in, and in the first attempt, I misjudged where the finish line was, and I actually load in after it. On the second attempt, I successfully got the comic book, but when I made my way back to comic book guy's store, I had no way of triggering the mission objective marker, which made me fail. And on my third attempt, again, the elevation messed me up, but this time my car completely went haywire, and again, despite me being ahead of the nerd, I still lost the race.
Disappointed!
After 4 attempts, everything aligned perfectly and I was able to drive on solid ground and complete the mission. 3-2 Clueless begins by us talking to Millhouse at Wall-E Weasels. Chuck E. Cheese ho? Fredbear's Family Diner ho? So the premise of this mission is supposed to be quite cute and lighthearted, but there are no fun missions in this game, okay? Millhouse wants to ask Lisa out to the harvest dance, so obviously he uses her missing brother, who's been abducted and probed by aliens, to do it. And not to mention that he somehow teleports to all these locations, the bowling alley, and the Springfield sign. I mean, I don't know what Millhouse thinks he's cooking, but it ends up not working, and Lisa blows him off after he falls into the waterfall, and that's literally the mission.
My, your hair looks pointy today. Millhouse, have you seen Bart or not? So, Lisa, do you have a date for the harvest dance?
3-3 Bonfire of the Manatees starts off with, is that my favorite music? It's another Cletus mission, where we have to collect more roadkill skunk. Yes! But this one is actually different because instead of allying ourselves with Cletus, this time we're allied with Apu. So I guess we're playing both sides when it suits us. I mean, this is the most embarrassing thing of all because when I said I never got past the 3rd level of this game back when I was a kid, yeah, this is the mission I got stuck on. This easy Cletus mission where I literally have to hit him 15 times and steal his skunks. Apu gets a little heated and in a lapse of judgment calls Cletus a cracker.
Kid power!
Move it, Cracker.
Well, that doesn't matter because we steal all of his skunks with plenty of time left, which just proves I was, absolutely horrible at this game when I was 9. Immediately after collecting all the skunks, we get prompted to drive to the observatory with Apu because I guess they didn't know how to end this mission, and we go straight into another one. But to start it, we need to buy a school bus from Otto for 300 coins. Oh my god. After dumping a third of our life savings into a school bus, we start 3-4, Operation Hellfish, where we have to destroy 3 black sedans to find clues to find Bart. The first sedan spawns at the bottom of this bridge near the dam, and with the bus it's very easy to take out, and it ends up blowing itself up anyways. The next sedan is by the Aztec movie theater, which leads us down the main highway to the squidport where the final car is waiting, which we also shortly destroy by crashing it headfirst into this pylon. The next mission requires us to join Chief Wiggum on a ride-along, so we need to buy Lisa's disguise outfit for another 250 coins so that we can fit in as a narc LARPing as a stoner hippie. With our cool new disguise, we join Chief Wiggum to violate Snake's civil rights in 3-5 Slivery Sleuthing, where we have to follow Snake until he drops enough proof so that we can arrest him. The first strike for Snake are his designer jeans that he bought off Shein. The next strike is running over an elderly person without a license. I don't even know what this drop thing is. I think it's like legs.
Strike 2. Running over an elderly person without a license.
Also, do you need a license to legally run over elderly people, or you just so happen to run over elderly people without a driver's license? I mean, anyways, I don't know what I'm waffling about because what happens next is the biggest stolen victory. We both get stuck on these stairs and Snake somehow manages to teleport and drive away. And on our second attempt, the stairs don't load again. We end up bouncing around, which does massive damage to the police car, causing it to blow up and the mission to fail. The final piece of evidence that Snake drops is, I think, like a soda can. I mean, the Chief Wiggum writes him up for littering, so you can rest easy knowing that he won't be getting bailed this time. After the most corrupt ride-along in history, we drive back down to the casino and we finish the mission.
Alright, we got all we need on this lowlife.
I do not like 3-6 fishy deals. In this mission, we need to collect 22 fish around the map for the sea captain. So far and later on, I experienced a lot of trouble in missions where you have to collect items with strict time limits. Obviously, these time limits were intended for a normally functioning map, but when you constantly have to reset your car or drive in a weird way to avoid launching yourself, it really eats up the time. On our first attempt, we almost finished, and I mistakenly think that the final fish is a little further on the designated path, but it's actually behind me, on the broken bridge, which you have to do a jump for. So I fail even though I technically had enough time, if only 2 seconds.
What?
The second attempt goes much better and we get to the final fish with 8 seconds. So we take our time and successfully make the jump and collect the last fish, finishing the mission. (3-7), the old pirate in the sea, takes place right after we get the last fish with the captain. The captain tells us that he saw Bart being kidnapped by a black limo, which so happens to appear right behind us. I didn't change my car at all for this mission, so we have to destroy this limo with one of the lightest cars in the game. So we do very little damage. On the first attempt, I couldn't even do enough damage in the time I had, so I had to restart. On the second attempt, however, the textures helped me by consuming the limo and its occupants. So driving back to the captain, he tells us that he saw Bart on the ship, the CS Spanker, the Sea Spanker, my bad. So we board the ship and I run all around, and even though I have so much time, I can't find Bart anywhere, which totally confuses me, and I failed the mission because of this. On our third attempt, we easily destroy the mission and we're back on the ship, and this time Bart is right next to this red container. And unfortunately, it seems like he's being lobotomized. Also, I think I should point out that on the second attempt I literally walked past where he's supposed to spawn. I mean, do you see this? He's not even there. Like, I'm so confused. So for all our hard work, we finished the final mission. The game saves, which is shortly followed by my whole game crashing. We're back in Springfield playing as Marge in 4-1, a few donuts more, and we start the level off strong with Chief Wiggum colliding with a car stuck in traffic and spontaneously combusting. After a quick reset, we can get into the mission. This mission is also a two-parter, but still incredibly simple. All we have to do is first follow Chief Wiggum to Lard Lad's Donuts, from where he asks us to steal 10 donuts from the Lard Lad donut truck because, I don't know, he doesn't have any money or something. So, like any other hit and collect esque mission, we chase down the donut truck and knock it about 10 times, and after this, we have to drive back to Chief Wiggum and give him his donuts. Chief Wiggum is not beating the stereotypical cop allegations, I'll tell you that much. After completing that simple mission, we're treated to yet another Cletus mission, but Apu isn't involved at all because this time we're actually chasing Cletus. So as we're loading in for our first attempt, when the mission loads, we suddenly teleport somewhere into the ether because this is the only place I can think of because I can't see the ground or myself or anything. I try to reset the car by clicking the joystick a couple of times, hoping that this will fix the issue and I'll reset back on the ground, but it doesn't help. So I guess the game doesn't register any ground at all, so I'm forced to restart. Thankfully on the second attempt, we load in just fine and we can start chasing Cletus. This is just another standard pick up and follow mission, and as you can see now, the mission formats are dwindling and spoilers, they do not get much better. If anything, they get much worse. Nothing of note happens except this little bouncy room, which I guess is kind of weird, and then the mission ends. This mission was the most painful mission of the whole run. Not that it's inherently hard or anything, but just, I don't know, the bugs just made this such a challenge to do. After we buy the prisoner outfit for Marge, you'll see why. In 4-3 Ketchup Logic, we have to help Cletus collect ketchup packets from McDonald's so that he can feed his family for the winter, which, although funny, makes me hate this mission even more for some reason. And now you know why this mission is so messed up. It's because, of course, we're back driving Cletus's truck again, and out of all the cars in the game, you know it, guys, Cletus's truck has the worst physics. But this next part, I just want to play you this whole section just with my real-time reaction because I didn't speak much during the initial, when I recorded the gameplay, but this part actually just made me speak out loud because I honestly don't even know what to say for this section. It just speaks for itself. So, and you get to experience it along with me. So, oh my lord. Oh. Okay, frame perfect. Frame perfect. No! What are you doing, Cletus? Oh my god, 20 seconds. Frame perfect, frame perfect. What the f- Okay, this is not happening.
Oh no, I got 5 hound dogs in here. Stop that nonsense. You got real pretty acceleration. This is real fun.
Bro, what is even going on?
Road rage.
Very disappointed in you.
Oh no, I got 5 hound dogs in here.
Please! Cletus, please! Oh my god. Cletus. Cletus. No!
This is real fine. Oh.
Alright. Let's get over here.
No time for caution.
This is so awful. I hate this mission. Dude, please.
Look out.
Watch it, buddy. No.
What is the camera? What the? Can you face forward, please?
Worst town in America.
Yeah. Yes! I have to clean this house. Oh no, it's not over. What the hell?
Drive 55.
All that drive.
Okay, relax. Cletus, we lost him. Relax. Relax. Oh my god.
Here me is.
Oh my.
Now about your query. My grandpappy done seed one of them corn drawings once, but he's with Allah now.
So with that abomination out of the way, time to start 4-4, Return of the Nearly Dead. And now, the first time I played this, I surely thought this was a two-parter, like most of the short missions within the same mission. But no, this mission is literally a 15-second race, and it counts as an entire mission. It's not like I'm complaining or anything after the ketchup one, but yeah, this is what they came up with. I think I could literally do this with both my eyes closed, my arms behind my back, all while I'm popping oxy. Okay, so that's just, I don't do drugs, but yeah. Anyways, I'll tie these into the lore together because the next mission that comes right after is 4-5, We'll Stole My Pills, where Grandpa Simpson tells us that he had his meds stolen by the bullies at school. So, you know, we drive over there and we talk to Nelson, who tells us that he sold them to some strange men in a black sedan. Which, okay, I mean, for what did he sell them for? Is he doing drug deals now? So we have to follow this black sedan now and wait for it to drop the pills, and there's 10 we have to get. But pretty soon we get a glimpse of how this mission is actually gonna go, as I accidentally turn too tight with Marge's car, causing the car to lean to one side, which makes the whole car possessed, and whatever this is you're seeing right now, I mean, I had no control over it at all. I was trying to slow down the whole time, and my car was just doing pirouettes and handstands and crazy maneuvers, but eventually we get out of it. But that doesn't matter because the terrain loads on top of us, causing us to face through it, and I failed the mission. On the next attempt, I drive over this trash can, which, let's be fair, is literally right in the middle of the road. But this is no ordinary trash can. This is some sort of killer trash can, as it gets under my rear wheels and causes my car to absolutely freak out once again. On this attempt, however, we do get the final pill bottle, and after doing a sick 180 flip onto the gas station pump, causing it to explode. And on the way back to Grandpa, the black sedan comes back because, I mean, I guess they want their pills back. I mean, let's be honest. They did rightfully buy them in a transaction, and in this process I end up getting a hit and run. After losing the black sedan, the cops are still on me, and I have no idea what's with these cops, because I mean, I can visibly see the wanted bar go down to 0, but they won't stop chasing me. And even if we gave this visual the benefit of the doubt, it happens again, and for a much longer duration, and they still keep chasing me. The cops are literally camping me as if they're short on their quota for the day, like I'm not even wanted right now. But regardless, they bust me with a 50 coin fine.
That's such bullshit.
So I pray for anyone who does an audit of the Springfield Police Department. With the pills secured, we fetch some more caffeine pills from the Quickie Mart and get rewarded with another amazing cutscene.
Maybe these will jog your memory.
Huh? What?
For the last freaking time, your salad.
No, huh? Of them, a raccoon as I recall. It's me with a banjo. No, I never reasoned with a raccoon, let alone a Nazi one.
And it with an antenna. That sounds awfully familiar. I think it was at the Quickie Mart. That's it. It was on a bottle of pop.
So what did we learn from that for all that work? Like literally nothing. I mean, I guess we know now that it's been Buzz Cola all along or something, but I mean, is it really worth it listening to Grandpa yap for like 5 minutes? To start the next mission, we have to go to Bart's bedroom, but this is where I ran into the first game-breaking and possibly run-killing bug. At this point, I honestly thought I'd have to go into the save file manually and put myself into the mission ahead of time, because every time I tried going into this bedroom, the game crashed. So on a whim, I decided to connect my keyboard, and that didn't work. I thought that maybe changing the resolution or the screen size might help. I don't know, I was kind of reaching, but that didn't work. Instead, this time, with the keyboard connected, I unplugged my headphones from my microphone, and somehow, this time, it actually loaded me in. I have no idea how that fixed it, but yeah, I was honestly very relieved. So after purchasing Marge's police outfit for a wallet-shattering 400 coins, we can finally start 4-6 the Cola Wars, where we have to run around and collect 30 cans of cola from the local area. For all the hassle I went through for this mission, this was very easily comparatively. The game gives us more than enough time to make mistakes, and we collect all the cola cans with plenty of time left. After collecting all the cans, we talk to Apu to start the finale, 4-7 from outer space. In this mission, we have to drive around and destroy 3 cola trucks in the given time limit. I have to say that Marge's mission, despite all the glitches and bugs, is a very easy level overall. The finale itself, unlike the previous missions, also isn't anything interesting. I mean, it's just a carbon copy of 2-7 Sellout. We don't have any difficulty destroying any of these trucks, and the twist is that as we're trying to get home, Chief Wiggum is mad at us and we have to lose him, which we do relatively quickly. When we drive to the Simpsons house though, my heart sank as the game stopped responding. I mean, there were sounds, and everything, but the screen was just frozen and the map is literally still animating. But eventually the level complete screen comes up and we proceed to the next level. Okay, so this one's a bit of a weird one. We're back in a night version of the city map from level 2, but this time we're playing as Apu, which is an interesting choice. I mean, so far we've played as Homer, Bart, Lisa, and Marge, so all the members of the Simpson family. I have nothing against Apu. I mean, the music in the stage is pretty fire, but couldn't have we played as Maggie, as Abe, Mona? What about the famous Uncle Tyrone Simpson, or even better, Great Aunt Hortense Simpson? The first mission, 5-1, is incriminating caffeine, and we have to do another tail and collect mission where we have to follow the cola truck and pick up any boxes. The mission is nothing special, and we end up trailing the truck to the mob headquarters, which means that Buzz Cola is in bed with the mafia, and now we know more than we should. In 5-2, Apu learns that his wife is in hospital, about to give birth to octuplets. Father of the year, or husband of the year. So we have to get there so we can be there, and also the mob are now chasing us. So we can take a relaxing drive knowing that I'm at the risk of getting whacked. Apart from a minor texture loading glitch, the mission is super easy and we lose the mob sedan very quickly. At the hospital, Dr. Hibbert tells us to get diapers, because apparently the diapers are bring your own at the Springfield Hospital. So we decide to go to Homer and purchase the car built for Homer from Homer for a teeth-chattering $500. Okay, after this we start 5-3. 8 is too much, where Apu has to steal diapers from a family by repeatedly hitting their minivan, which apart from ethical concerns, I mean, unless this family is evil or something, is another hit and collect mission, and we get it done super quick. And let's just think about it. I mean, we get 8 diapers for 500 money, and after committing a felony, so it's a win-win. Next, we need to find a criminal to help us find some Buzz Cola confidential documents, so we ask Krusty how one might go about doing that.
You'll have better luck if you look American. I swear I didn't touch your daughter, and she told me she was 18!
He tells us that Apu needs a disguise so he doesn't arouse any suspicion from the cops, and we have to buy the Apu American outfit for 425 coins, which, I mean, at this point almost completely just bankrupts us. In 5-4, this little period, we have to follow the trail of donuts to Chief Wiggum. The first attempt fails due to time, and similarly our second one does too due to a little hiccup in the tunnel. You know what they say though, third time's the charm, and as we get to the police station, we have to follow Chief Wiggum. But obviously, you know me, and I absolutely blow the third time's the charm mantra, and we failed the mission because I crashed into a wall. On the fourth attempt, however, we have no issues and we complete the mission. 5-5, Never Trust the Snake, is pretty much the same as the monkey mission in level 2, or I guess the Marge cop mission in level 4. Snake tells us that he can get us the confidential documents, but first we have to do his community service for him. Snake's community service was apparently to collect trash from a garbage truck, which is dropping it around the city. So first we have to follow the truck and collect 5 pieces of trash, and then at the monorail station it prompts us to collect 25 pieces from the surrounding area, much of which we have to get out of the car to get. Due to the rush, instead of running back from my car, I steal this campaign truck to get to the final pieces, and then I have whatever remaining time I have left to get back to the DMV, which as you can see is definitely not enough due to the speed of this car. I get in the car built for Homer because it's much faster, and I'm still nowhere close with only 5 seconds left because of all the time I lost. I don't know what it is about my controller or this monorail parkour, but Apu kept getting stuck on the stairs up the station, and I kept failing this lamp jump, even though I swear I was hitting jump at the right time. You can probably tell that those 2 failed jumps cost me the run, but I still went through with it, and obviously this caused me to fail without even making it on the highway. The bad part about this mission is that there's no checkpoint between the 2 halves, and the truck drops the trash based on specific markers that it has to pass, which means I have to follow it for at least a minute before getting to the next part, which makes replays drag on. Luckily for me, I nailed the monorail parkour first try, which saves me a ton of time. Then I played the next part smarter and run over to to my car first so that I can use it for the final trash cans, which works out perfectly with just over a minute to get back, and I do so where I talk to Snake. Snake tells me that the documents are in the DMV, so I run inside and pick them up, but they're empty. Snake pretty pinky promises us that if we help him with his next court-mandated order, he'll give us what we need to know. In 5-6 Quick Cash, it turns out that Snake was lying about that court-mandated order, and somehow we've just become accomplices to an armed robbery of an armored truck. But even though it looks like Snake might be driving and he tricked us, let's just remind everyone that he might be wearing the pants in this relationship, but it's actually a Pooh who is pulling all the strings here because he's driving and I control a Pooh. So yeah, I'm in control. Yeah. First we have to lose our probation officer so he doesn't catch us robbing this truck, which I don't know, you know what they say, if you're gonna go for one count of intentional homicide, you might as well go for the rest too. Saves you the witnesses. Also, I don't know how Snake plans on getting this money or gold or whatever by exploding the whole truck, but that's not my problem. The real dandy thing about this mission is the lack of a mission timer, so thank the powers that be, meaning the developers at Vivendi Games, I don't have to rush or anything, and that's good too, because this truck has a stupid amount of health. After destroying the armor truck, we have to drive back to Snake's hideout and lose Chief Wiggum so that Snake can lay low. After getting back, Snake tells us his intel, that the Springfield Museum is currently exhibiting a Buzz Cola meteorite. Like, imagine if your local museum had a Pepsi meteorite sponsored by Pepsi. I mean, that's kind of what it is. So yeah. 5-7 Curious Curator is the finale of level 5. We have to get to the museum before the curator leaves so that we can have a look at this Buzz Cola meteorite. And this time we're joined by Bart in his Ferrari. Look at little bro, he's moving up in life. He's on that grind. We get to the museum just as the curator leaves, which means that we have to destroy his car and steal his keys to get inside. Obviously in line with existing Simpsons Hit Run logic. We watch the curator as he slowly rises from the deep bowels of the earth so that we can rob him. The curator's path finding gets a little confused because, I mean, he's no next bot, I'll say, so he drives in a little circle and can seem to get himself out of it, which is good for us as he doesn't drive far from the museum. And it's also really easy to destroy him. And also he just ends up blowing himself up anyways at the end.
That was totally awesome.
After getting his keys, we drive back to the museum and get a short cutscene where Bart and Apu encounter the Buzz Cola meteorite that oozes some of its cola on this dinosaur skeleton, causing it to come alive. We also find out that Kang and his sister Kodos are planning to set up Springfield as a set piece for their sick and twisted reality show about Earthlings, which we learn from the villain says their plan really loudly like no one's listening moment cliche.
Then we distribute laser guns at the Squidport tourist area.
I like it.
The cola-madden humans will go berserk,
I like it.
destroying themselves and their town.
Delivering big space ratings for foolish Earthlings.
In 6-1, Going to the Loo, we're back playing as Bart again in a night version of the beach map from level 3. In this mission, we have to do Otto's job for him because he's too stoned to drive. We have to collect 15 kids from the map on the way to Krusty Lou Studios. The mission itself is not that difficult, but remember that issue I had in 4-6? Well, this is the second time that I encountered a softlock due to a crashing cutscene. For some reason, every time I got to Krusty Lou Studios, as the screen went black to teleport me and unload the bus from the game would just not turn back on. I mean, even though I could hear the audio for a little bit before it cut out and it just closed.
Perfection, thy name is Bart.
The fact that I had to retry the mission every time to try to diagnose or fix the crash also really sucked because Otto's bus awakened my inner anger or something because he just kept bugging out. And one time on my third attempt, it literally teleported me outside of the map bounds as I was driving. I kept trying to see what would help. I plugged my headphones in, I unplugged my headphones, I played the sound through my speakers, I plugged in my keyboard. But what eventually worked was sound through my speakers with my keyboard plugged in, allowing us finally to move on.
Whoa! I spilled my pudding.
Take that! I am the king!
6-2, Getting Down with the Clown, immediately starts after the first mission. In this mission, we have to find Krusty's limo so that we can warn him about the propaganda that he's going to be filming for the Buzz Cola aliens. As we follow this random truck, we reach Krusty's limo, and as we get out to talk to him, his driver takes off after just idling in the middle of the highway. Despite getting incredibly unlucky with the timing on this rebar thing, we restart, and on our second attempt, we successfully get to the Squidport first. We talk to Krusty and he tells us that he needs to see proof in order to believe us. So we launch into 6-3, Lab Coat Caper, which leads us on a pretty long rabbit hole mission loop. In Lab Coat Caper, all we have to do is follow Professor Frink. However, for the majority of the mission, he proceeds to double back or drive in circles, and the map loading issues are still present. So it doesn't do us any favors. But besides all that, this mission is very boring. Just as we get to the observatory where the mission ends, because the map hasn't loaded in yet, Frink's car can't hit the checkpoint. So we have to watch it do circles above it for a little under a minute, but after the road loads in, the mission completes and we talk to him inside the observatory. In 6-4, Duff for me, Duff for you, I have to drive to the Duff Brewery, my favorite place in the entire game, to intercept a Duff truck to steal some of the laser guns. Apart from my terrible driving at the start, which makes me restart the mission and almost not complete it the second time due to this truck. Once we get to the Duff Brewery, the rest of the mission is just like any other regular hit and collect mission that we've seen a dozen times already. And once we collect all 6 boxes, we have to drive back to the brewery and collect the laser gun from below the blimp. In 6-5, Full Metal Jackass, Skinner has stolen our laser gun that we just picked up because, you know, it's contraband, because apparently he can enforce school rules outside of school. So the game makes us ram his car and destroy it so that we can get it back. And this mission is very easy and we have so much time, like enough time to like drive down and get a burger at your local Wendy's or something. I don't know what time is so. Bart says something completely unhinged like,
I just know I'm gonna be blamed for this.
Lil bro, of course you're gonna get blamed for this, you're literally doing it. And has anyone else knows that Skinner's mum never gets out of the car? So yeah, I guess she died.
Fry his butt.
I seem to have soiled myself.
In 6-6, Set to Kill, we show Krusty the blood diamond that we found, and for some reason the game forces us to buy a $600 car. Oh my god. Because Bart says he's like a villain now. So anyways, you already know that this car handles like absolute ass. It's way too light, which means that its suspension gets all messed up, even on tiny bumps. Like, I mean, I got glitches even just driving on the road, which is normal terrain. Not to mention that it has like 0 health tied with like the rocket car from stage 1. On my first attempt, I blow up the car and get into this truck thinking I can continue, but it resets me, and now this time, at the start of the mission, I'm just in this NPC car, which had bugged out steering and didn't let me turn right. So I got out and got into this pickup truck that was right outside. And now I'm driving this pickup truck, which, I mean, let's be real, is a level 1 car, so of course it's not fast enough. So instead I take the time to call Bart's Ferrari from one of the phones for the next attempt. Up to this point, the mission is going really well. I destroyed all the stands, and as I'm driving back, I have to do this little stunt jump into the squid port, which, I mean, never ends well when it's unloaded, so it completely ruins my run, and I run out of time after bugging out. Even though I got a skip because of how many tries I put into this mission, I didn't take it because I'm a real one. Also, because that's cheating. So you know that the next attempt is going to be the best run of my life. After getting all the laser gun stands, I get a hit and run, and the cops spawn out of the void to come get me. I don't know if this is the luckiest or unluckiest play I've ever done, because I lodged myself on the rebar layer thingy, and one of the cops goes right under me and the other gets trapped behind me. This time I'm not playing any games, so just before I land on the unloaded terrain, I pause my game and wait for the textures to load in. I end up losing the cops while driving through the squid port, but not for long, because I get another hit and run just as I'm on the final leg. And I don't know about you, but I think I played this completely out of my mind here to dodge the cops that spawned right in front of me and finishing the mission with less than 1 second on the clock.
You mean there's more? I don't remember these being here before.
The finale of level 6, 6-7, Kang and Kodos Strike Back, I thought was pretty underwhelming. All it is just a simple short race to the Duff Brewery. But with all that saying, I still failed on my first attempt. But listen, I promise it wasn't my fault, it was the terrain's fault. On the second attempt, it all goes fine, even though we can't see the ground at all. So in order to get the correct height, we reset our car, and at the last split second, we managed to speed up and cross the finish line right before the aliens do. When we get to the brewery, we get a short cutscene where Kang drops some words of wisdom on us before leaving.
How is that racist? I'm just pointing out a fact.
Oh man, that sounds cool. I mean, oh no, I hope their plan fails. Who am I kidding? Zombies eating brains? Oh, this is gonna...
Not now, Lisa. I'm trying to listen to the baseball game.
It's the top of the 7th, and oh God, zombies! They're devouring the crowd. Now they're eating my brain. Oh, the pain! Ah!
Starting off 7-1, Rigor Mortis, we're playing as Homer back on our home turf. But this time, all sorts of creepy creatures, freaks, ghouls, and spooks have risen all around Springfield. Our goal in this mission is to steal survival supplies from our friends so that we can guarantee the safety of our family while forsaking theirs. After some convincing, we convince Ned to give us his last medkit, and after that, we drive over to Cletus's house, but not before my car phases out of the map after a traffic collision.
I am evil Homer. I am evil Homer. That was so painful.
After restarting, we make use of the newly opened Springfield Graveyard stunt ramp and arrive at Cletus's house, only to quickly steal his balls and board up our windows. Then we make a short pit stop at Moe's house to steal his chainsaw and make our way back to the Simpson house to complete the mission. At the school, comic book guy tells us that there's a shady black sedan that we should follow, but first we need to buy the zombie car from the zombie for 500 coins. I don't know what a zombie is gonna do with currency, but it's not my problem. Well, actually it is my problem because it's my money. Anyways, after buying the zombie car, we start 7-2, Long Black Probes, where we have to simply follow the black sedan and see where it goes. Unfortunately, the zombie car has a very low health pool, so I managed to destroy it by simply landing one of the jumps. So after restarting, we follow the sedan all the way to the nuclear power plant. Well, at least it's supposed to be the nuclear power plant, because I guess you can't really tell right now, so just trust me. 7-3, Pocket Protector is one in a very long chain of pick up radioactive waste and deliver it to the school missions. This level is plagued by, count it, 4 separate copies of the exact same mission with just different cars and different time limits. That's half the missions in level 7. In Pocket Protector, we have to deliver the waste to weaken the alien spaceship at the school, but of course, driving Professor Frink's car is as always a nightmare with its light gravity and super fast speed. Oh yeah, and if we crash the car into any physical wall, obstacle, or anything at all during any of these radioactive missions, the radioactive waste will explode, and we have to drive back and get another one, so you can probably tell how this is gonna go. As I'm trying to drive the nuclear waste, I get a hit and run, and 2 cops spawn right in front of me, causing me to crash into them and the waste to explode. On our next attempt, we somehow avoid any explosion even after we bounce off this invisible world border and the height map. And in order to lower the risk of boosting glitches boosting us into a wall, I drive over the graveyard ramp super slow and crash into the other side of the ramp, and yet the waste is still intact as I recover. I keep driving, but one missed turn causes me to collide with this dumpster, causing the waste to explode. And forgive me, but in terms of the hits I took this run, I mean, this dumpster here had to be one of the most tame. So you know, for the next attempts, the game won't even let me have any fun, as it hurls me into walls and sends cars barreling into me, throws me into buildings at top speed, and not to mention the cops spawn camp me and still find me after destroying all my progress right in front of me.
Bro, fuck off cops, bro.
Again in this run, I replicate my real life skills and dodge the cops perfectly and make it to the school with 5 seconds left on the clock. I think this mission took me about 8 or 9 attempts, most of which were off screen because they were just boring. So far this has taken the most attempts. Anyway, after delivering the waste, we park Frink's car in the tractor beam with Frink still inside no less, and watch as he gets beamed up. After standing by and watching Frink T-pose to death, Lisa tells us that the nuclear waste seems to be damaging the alien ship, meaning that we have to find more. But we already know where there's more, so I guess they just wanted to shorten the non-radioactive missions so we get even more time playing the radioactive missions because they're just so awesome. In 7-4, there's something about Monty. All we have to do is drive back to the power plant and see Mr. Burns. But on the way, there is an alien sedan that trails us and we have to lose it. But that's easy enough, and we drive through the unloaded terrain to the power plant, and in this level, there's actually a whole new parkour section here, which I don't like. As I jump up the girders and wreckage, I failed the final jump and somehow managed to get myself stuck under the girder between it and the UFO below it. And I'm totally stuck, like, Homer can't move in any direction and jumping doesn't get me dislodged, but after enough trying and attempts, I position my camera just right and I slip out, allowing me to finish the parkour. Up in the office, Burns has these trapdoor thingies, but all you have to do to skip his Squid Game puzzle is run along the middle, and after that we politely ask Mr. Burns to borrow some of his nuclear waste. Alright, here we go, the first of the 3 missions in the finale, 7-5 Alien Autopsy Part 1. In this mission, we have to deliver the waste to weaken the alien spaceship at the school, but this time we have to do it in our car, which is actually easy enough as this is one of the best handling and fastest cars in the game. So despite being catapulted into the same house again after jumping the TIE fire, this time the Simpsons Hit Run god smiled down upon me and let me keep my radioactive waste. And after this point, everything goes smoothly and we make it to the school with plenty of time to spare, just enough so that we can beam up our car and destroy it.
Man, my car is gone, and the ashtray was full of pennies.
7-6 Alien Autopsy Part 2 is the next cleverly named mission in the Unholy Trilogy. This time we commandeer Snake's car, and I just want to say that back when I was a kid and now, I still think that his car is the coolest in the entire game. As we're driving to the power plant, a sedan pulls up and we have to lose its tail, which we do without any effort. Next, as we collect the nuclear waste, we do another very dubious landing, which again somehow does not result in the waste exploding. And just as I think I'm about to get this first try, as I'm approaching the school right in front of me, a burger advertisement sign loads in, causing me to crash and fail.
Bro, what?
On my way back, Snake's car can't seem to find the ground and proceeds to bunny hop and explode. And at this point, I was playing for a pretty long time, so I was gonna call it for the night, but no. You have to know that I finish what I start. With the new payload in hand again, I somehow pull off some shenanigans, and despite multiple collisions, everything is fine. And as I get to the school again, I get a hit and run. Because I'm above the terrain, my car can't get a grip and does this little bouncy thing, so I have to reset it and crash through the school over with about 5 seconds left on the clock. And after that, I sacrifice Snake to the UFO and finish the second part.
Oh, chicks love it when I do this. Hey, that's totally not supposed to happen.
We're finally at the finale of not only the level, but also the trilogy, 7-7 Alien Autopsy Part 3. And this is the worst one yet, because we get to drive Grandpa's terrible Jeep, but now it has a jet engine strapped to the back. And I also have to listen to his constant audio lines. First of all, we have to race the black sedan to the nuclear power plant. Despite some minor complications on the route and some very poor plays and just awful gameplay from me, we make it first try, somehow. So arguably, this is the hardest mission in the game, if you were playing normally. So I was very happy that I was making such good time first try. Once you get to Evergreen Terrace, you have to lose the sedan, which is extremely dependent on your reaction time and planning. Because in this map, driving to school, this is kind of the only place you can lose them, because the rest of the map is just a simple straight with no crazy distance breaking shortcuts or anything that you can do. And of course, I didn't manage to do it. I get a hit and run, and as I'm nearing the school, I start losing faith in the run. For a second, with about 6 seconds left on the clock, I have a chance to lose the tail because he got stuck in the school oval. But I crash into this house, which completely ruins my chances at doing anything. So I accept my fate and let the time run out.
I am excellent.
Now my story begins in 19-2. We had to say tickety, because the Kaiser had stolen our word Mayday! Mayday! I'm going down! Now my story begins in 19-2. We had to say tickety, because the Kaiser had stolen our word and took my lawnmower, which in those days we called a whacking Sally.
After hearing Grandpa talk about Flat Freddy's or the Kaiser for the 50th time, we try again and pull off this crazy GTA stunt parking compilation moment. As we're racing, the black sedan is significantly faster than us. I mean, here you can see we're literally in a vacuum. No road, no traffic or anything, and the dude just flies straight past us. But then we get lucky as the terrain decides to load in, but it actually doesn't help, because maybe the sedan got stuck, but my awful driving caused me to crash into this bush, which we just couldn't recover from. On the next attempt, the sedan just ignores the roads and obstacles and drives right through or above them. I'm not really sure, but what I know is that he beats me at the very end of the race.
What?
On these next few tries, I just had the worst stroke of luck with the train collision with delivering the waste. I just kept hitting these dishes and they just kept messing me up, and the boosts, although they're very useful for gaining speed or cutting down on time, they're just too unreliable to use during this mission.
What the fuck is going on, bro?
Finally, I got back to the pivotal part of this mission. It was now or never, so I take my time and I wait for the stand to turn around and try to intercept me, and as it does, I boost forward, and before it has a chance to react or chase me, I lose it shortly after. I end up at the school with about 12 seconds remaining, which, if you've ever played this, I must say is incredibly generous. So I park Grandpa up, send him a farewell, and farewell to eat Flat Freddy's with the man upstairs. All the best, Gramps.
Whoa!
I feel bad.
Oh, fuck.
After sacrificing Grandpa, we get a cutscene of the UFO exploding and crashing. And that concludes our run of the Simpsons Hit and Run, but it's an unoptimized mess filled with bugs and glitches. I hope that you watching had a fun time as much as I did playing through, and if you're still here watching after like an hour, I mean, you're crazy and awesome. I'm glad that I could share this very cool game that I have a lot of memories with you. And if you haven't already, it would mean a lot to me if you liked this video, commented, and subscribed if you enjoyed what you saw and if you want to see more. Thank you for watching, you guys are great, and I'll see you in the next video, whatever and whenever that may be. See you soon.